welcome back to another episode of GFreak Speaks podcast, episode 11, the 1-1 with the number one man in esports, arguably one of the number ones in APAC region, HAYDEN, SHIELS. Welcome, my man. How you doing, man?
All right, thanks for having me. Been watching your podcast and they've been killing it, so I'm glad to be here.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Another watcher of the podcast, man. Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. But dude, where do we start, man? We've got so many things to talk about, you know, but I wanted you to tell me who you are today.
Yep, so yeah, I'm known as HAYDZ on the interwebs, and basically I do tons of stuff within the gaming and esports industry. So I used to be a YouTuber with 100,000 subscribers, and then I went on to being a pro player, but now I manage pro players through KANGA esports, as well as run a lot of influencer activations and events through Events Engine. So yeah, kind of went from one side of the field to the total opposite.
You've definitely been everywhere, man. The next is probably like game development, if that's on the horizon.
And now I need to start making the games.
Making the games, but you're just not happy with how everyone else is doing it. That's fair enough. But dude, how did you first get into gaming?
So yeah, I guess it was the early Xbox days, back on the original Xbox, kind of, and then probably the start of the first Call of Duty 2, the first Halo, or Halo 2 on Xbox was probably my first one. And yeah, just grinding out that when I was a child back in high school and primary school. That's pretty much all I did. Get home every day, jump on the Xbox.
Was gaming a big thing for you in high school? Was that like a thing that you kind of kept in the cupboard around your mates and stuff, or was it like kind of out there like he games, bruh? You know what I mean?
No, I was in the computer systems engineering crowd, so it was pretty normal with my group of friends. We were like playing video games, had some mate's house across the road from the school, so everyone goes over there in the lunch break, starts playing some Call of Duty or Halo, Gears of War.
In the lunch break?
Yeah, it was pretty normal, yeah.
That's sick. That is so good, man. See, I feel like things have changed now, man. Like, I guess like for yourself, you hung out with the IT gents and stuff, but for even coming up my age as well, like it wasn't really a big thing to like brag and flex that you play video games and stuff, man. It was more like you kind of do it in the part time. Yeah, I game, yeah, here and there. But now it's kind of like if you're good and you want some cash, you know, if you have that $1 in your Twitter bio, you're telling everyone about that. You know what I mean? But back 5-10 years ago, no one used to do that. So it's crazy how times have changed, and especially technology. Like, you know, people were playing Counter-Strike on these burger piece of poo PCs, but now they're just elite and you can do it in the classroom like I used to as well. So it was insane. But dude, tell me about the congratulations, firstly, of the KANGA acquisition was it Legacy?
Yep. So yeah, we acquired Legacy Esports from the Adelaide Football Club.
Yep.
And that was a pretty big acquisition for us because they have one of the most valuable assets in the region, which is an LCO spot. For those who don't know the LCO, it's basically League of Legends, and it's tied into the global circuit, but it's the Oceanic or Australian specific version of that global circuit. And yeah, it's a pretty valuable spot to have a team in there. And now KANGA's in the LCO. We've got our LCO team. They just started playing last week, actually, so they've been doing pretty well so far. And yeah, we also acquired all their other teams and some staff and content creators and a mix of general assets and other things like that because they were totally exiting the scene. And yeah, it was really good for us. We were just keen on expanding. We always want to learn more and get into more titles, get into more leagues, and basically we want to be as involved as we can. So it was a great opportunity for us.
How was it negotiating with the Adelaide Football Club? Was that like a timely thing as all projects are, or was it fast, or how does it go? Because I know that like our AFL teams, do they even have esport teams anymore? Was that like a quick fad?
Yeah, I think a couple of them got in and then they got out fairly quickly. But as far as I know, Adelaide Football Club, they did it the best. They were in the scene for the longest. They had the best track record. They had some great teams and players. They won some good world championships. So they were kind of a brand that we were super interested in acquiring, obviously. And yeah, those discussions went on for quite a while, working out all the details, lots of people making offers, because it was a semi-public thing. So they did reach out to a bunch of interested parties. It wasn't just us, but yeah, it was definitely a good thing for us overall. And it's a shame that these esports, or not esports, these football clubs pulled out of esports. But it's just very different worlds and very different spaces in their development. A lot of people get gaming confused with esports sometimes, because gaming's huge. Gaming is the biggest industry in the world, some say, in lots of metrics, just by how many people are playing and watching. But esports side of things, it's a bit different because not as many people want to take it seriously or watch the professional players. And Australia is a pretty small region to begin with.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just good to know the difference between those.
Absolutely, man. And like the thing about it is, it's absolutely huge. Like you said, it's not just acquiring a good team within the local region. It's a global thing that you can take a little bit more globally. You can expand the KANGA brand from the success from this team, and it just expands your network of eyes that get put onto the orange kangaroo, mate. And it definitely stands out, the good old kangaroo. And I love the revamp. Who did that? Who did that, man?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly who
you don't know he did it?
But we got a good graphics team and we got some contractors and we pulled together a total rebrand. So different people did the new player banners compared to the org banners, compared to the logo. We got some new stream graphics, animations and things for our sponsors made up. And yeah, we just reach out to the best talented minds. Most of our contractors are based in Australia as well for graphics design. So yeah, that's pretty good. And we whipped it all together and put together a whole new package for our brand. And we launched it along with the acquisition of Legacy. So it was a pretty huge change for us with a total new everything pretty across the board.
Hey, you may not be able to answer this question, okay? But this is just some clickbait within the podcast. How many bags? What was the bag? What was the bag? Was it? Can I start naming things and you can like look to the left if it was correct or close?
I'll give you the clickbait. We spent. Cut it there.
Okay. There it is. Okay.
I've got it here for you. Actually, we spent a total of. Don't know if you can hear that or not.
Hey, maybe the people that are watching the YouTube video might have heard that, but maybe on the podcast, who knows? Check that on youtube.com/GFreak. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
yeah, no. Unfortunately, I can't release any of the confidential numbers, but yeah, it was definitely worthwhile for both parties, and yeah, both parties are very happy with the transaction. So yeah, we're super keen to be playing the LCO. Hope you guys tune in and watch.
No, that's sick, man. LCO. So that's obviously the global one with the Championship Series League and whatnot. Where's that being held right now? Was the season's about to kick off? Was it this week or next weekend coming?
Yeah, so LCO is there's 8 teams in Australia and New Zealand that compete in the LCO. And then usually there's what they call MSI, which will be in the middle of the year where you'll get to the top teams or top 2 teams might get to fly over and compete internationally. And then there's Worlds, which is the most known League of Legends tournament, which once again, if you win your way through the LCO, you'll get invited to Worlds to compete on the world stage. And that's usually a much bigger circuit over a much longer time against the world's best teams.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's a really good learning experience as well for when the lads go over and compete against the best teams in the world. I know that, the boys returning from Sweden that played against the American teams, they loved it. It was a great learning experience. And same as the boys that went to go to Raleigh for Halo as well. It was just another learning experience and whatnot. But it's tough, man, being an Aussie because, if you're being in the top and you're not teaching anyone, you go over there and then you're the learner again. And it's so hard to kind of adapt. But the teams that adapt and succeed it's even more props. So when you're clapping teams over there, it's a real big up yours when you're clapping teams. So I love that, man. It's so good to watch Aussie teams absolutely dominate there and take out some teams along the way because we're a wild card, man. Huge wild card. You never know what's going to happen. Just kind of like Kokonakis and Kyrgios right now, man. They're just absolutely wild carding their way through, and I love it. So when this podcast comes out,
Australia's population is just tiny in comparison to the rest of the world.
What is it right now?
You have to consider some single countries might have 100 times our population.
I know,
which is just insane. And we're going over there and constantly competing against the best in the world.
Yep.
And that's kind of how KANGA was formed. because I was a pro player myself playing Overwatch.
Yep.
And we became one of the best in the country. And then we moved to Paladins. We became the best in the country for 3 years straight, undefeated in this region. And yeah, we traveled overseas so many times, and that's why I founded KANGA, because I couldn't find an org that was willing to support our dreams, I guess, at the time, because it wasn't as known in the industry, didn't have as many investors or big companies.
Yep.
So I started up the company myself, funded the team's boot camps, got us overseas to these international events. And yeah, our first international event, we ended up coming third.
Yep.
That kind of shocked the world that we could beat Russia, all of Asia, the Chinese teams, all the European teams, all the NA teams. And they were just blown away that we instantly got invited back. So that's what was lucky for us. And we got a lot of free trips overseas from then on, because they knew that they couldn't just sleep on us.
You were bringing the heat.
Not to invite us.
You were bringing the gas, brother. And that was whilst you were playing, correct?
Yep. Yeah, that was while I was on the team. And then, a couple of years later, I subbed myself out to bring in that new talent to keep us competitive.
Yep.
But yeah, we had a gaming house in the US. We were in the Paladins Pro League competing against Envy, NIP, all of those big organizations, big global organizations. And yeah, we even had some of our players poached or bought out by those big orgs as well. So yeah, highly contested. And one of our teammates, Diggy Dog, ended up becoming the world champion on Ninjas in Pajamas.
There we go. I love that team. It's such a good team brand. It just sounds so good, man. Ninjas in Pajamas, man. But I want to move on from this topic to going towards the managing influencers. So that all started back in 2019 with me, wasn't it? You kind of put your hand out and you gave me an opportunity.
We realized that content was a big thing, and that gaming teams wasn't going to be enough, especially if those pro players didn't want to stream or make their own YouTube content. So we expanded into our own videography crew, our own photography crew, live event staff, and of course influencers like yourself who were making your own content that we could then package up and sell to brands, because it was much more valuable being able to sell them content, influencers, and views, rather than just, hey, this guy's the best at this game, but no one watches him.
Yep. Absolutely, man. And look, I think that, like, I'm so grateful to this day. Like, I'm always humble about where I've come from and stuff. And I think that you guys really gave me an extra step up to be where I'm at today, for sure, man. I'm always extremely grateful for that, man. You know, like, without KANGA, I'd probably never be at Chiefs. And, you know, it's just like one of those things to be part of. You know, once I always say it, man, and it's about being part of history and building the blocks. Like, we may not be rewarded for our hard work right now, but, you know, further down the track, someone down there, little Timmy down there, like 10 years away, they're going to be rewarded for their hard work from what we've put in for them. So it's great to be part of that, and to be given the opportunity through KANGA was awesome, man. Like, the experience at PAX, like having the crowd chant my name and having the crowd chant KANGA and all that type of stuff. And was that the Hive place? Remember, we were going to chant like HIV.
No, don't condone that. We definitely weren't going to do anything like that.
I was going to do it. And I was like, and then someone was like, don't say it.
Yeah, it was meant to be an E at the end of that. But
yeah,
I guess
HIV,
clip it how they want.
You can clip it.
We worked with tons of people at live event stuff, like, you know. That was at the Seuss booth, and we had the Blue Mouth booth, Cougar booth, and a bunch of other partners and sponsors. Probably the biggest one I think we worked on with you was probably JB Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
We did all their event coverage for MEO. That's just an insane experience working with such a big company on such a big event, and having the only stuff going to their social media channels basically being from us.
Yeah.
So if you stuffed it up, then JB Hi-Fi's social media channels were ruined for their whole investment to sponsoring that event.
I know. Well, hey, good thing I didn't stuff it up. You know what I'm saying? But I reckon
it was great.
I reckon that gave me a bit of confidence as well with my Vox Pops and just taking the piss out of people here and there as well. I love that. Like, going back to the tennis, I was just walking around, I'm like, dude, I remember when we were doing this and doing that, because we haven't had an esports open since that event. Since we did that filming for JB, we haven't had one in 2019. So it was just a massive blast in the past going back to the tennis these past couple of weeks, man. It was nuts. The whole experience of that, you know, the locker rooms, the whole backstage, how it's produced, and there's a $25 million portable truck that has a satellite and produces all the content that you see live. It's just like mind blowing, man. It's insane. But
yeah,
I want
we
to.
had our editor down there in the basement.
I know,
and
man.
The guy running SD cards down to him. Quick, check
I
out
know.
another clip.
Yeah, quick.
Edit it up.
Poor Justin, man. Poor Justin was just absolutely working his ass off, man. But I want you to tell me about your is it new events engine and some other live events that you're running?
Yeah, so because of my experience kind of going as a influencer, big YouTuber, pro player, and running the org, I've pretty much talked to every single brand. So it kind of made sense to do activations for them at live events. And I partnered up with some of my friends, Daniel and Jason from Couch Warriors, who they also did live events. And I was meeting them a lot because we had a lot of players who competed at their events. And yeah, we kind of joined forces, made Events Engine, and put it all together in a big package that we can sell to brands and just make the community better, basically. Because without that event infrastructure, there's really nothing to build upon. So yeah, we're running leagues from the ground up, whether that be online or offline. We're running whole events for clients, and we're also running our own events like Battle Arena Melbourne, or the Game Expo is a big up and coming one we've been working on. And yeah, it's just really exciting to be able to provide that infrastructure. Like, be the one that people will need to reach out to if they want to get something done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you can't have a live finals if there isn't a stage somewhere with computers and technicians and all the thought and setup and ticket sales. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get these live events. So massive props to anyone in the community who's doing them, like ESL and Events Engine are pretty much the main two, I guess.
Oh yeah, man. And it's great to know that, you're organizing it, because I know that when we go to that event, whenever that happens, I don't know if I'm allowed to say what we said before, but whenever that event happens, it's going to be a good event, won't it? It's going to be a good one. We can expect big things. Do you reckon it'll rival PAX MEO? Is that what we're going for?
Yeah, so I think we're going to have a big focus on esports. So that's one of the main kind of differences compared to the PAX. And yeah, we've got tons of clients that are in the gaming industry that we're already working with, and we're just going to combine it all up and have stages everywhere. As far as you can see, there's going to be stages for all these different games, tournaments, prize money, artist alley, all the normal kind of convention type vibe and feels and booths. So yeah, I can't give much more away than that, but yeah, it's going to be good.
You're drip feeding us, mate. It's teasing. It's teasing. But if people want to find more information about this, can they go anywhere for the people that are listening?
So for right now, you're just going to have to remember the name, the Game Expo. A lot of the social media and websites are kind of holding now please wait pages because we haven't officially announced. But yeah, just follow me on Twitter. I'm sure I will be tweeting a ton once this stuff goes live. So at HAYDZ tweets on Twitter is probably the best way to stay updated with everything I'm doing, which includes the Game Expo, Events Engine, tournaments, influence activations, and everything KANGA, pro players, and all that good stuff.
I'm so keen, man. I'm so keen for that event. It's just, dude, I've just been missing events. Like, I've been using the tennis as my gaming convention. It's not even gaming. Like, it's the furthest thing away from it. But it's been like, there's nothing better than live events. Like, it's great. But then there's the worry about, the big C that we won't talk about. But it's just, I cannot wait for it to come back, man. There was something else I wanted to talk to you about. But I want people to, I actually want to talk about the story where you were going through your inboxes and you saw an inbox with someone. Do you know what I'm talking about? You saw an inbox.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, I remember ages ago, you were going through your inboxes one day, being the YouTuber that you were, and you looked back on some years ago of your inboxes, and you used to chat to a guy who had a different name to what he had now. Do you know what I'm talking about now? And then you were looking through. You were looking
probably
through.
A lot of them. No.
You were looking through the inbox. He's arguably probably one of the biggest YouTubers in the world right now. You were looking through.
Maybe. There's still multiple.
Dude,
I don't
okay.
mean to brag, but
okay.
I probably talked to Quibblequop, Mr. Beast. There's probably a couple.
It was Mr. Beast, bro.
I was messaging early on. Yeah.
Yeah, you were scrolling through inboxes, man. And do you remember that?
Yeah, well, at the time, they were just smaller YouTubers or around the same size as me, so it's not a big deal. I was messaging a lot of people to get them involved in collaborations or giveaways were a big thing back then. And yeah, I just sent messages to everyone, to be honest. So a lot of them replied because they wanted to be involved with the projects I was doing.
Hell yeah, man. Who are the biggest content creators you've worked with in the past?
Well, I was back when I was a YouTuber. It was all Minecraft stuff. So you probably know all those Deadlocks, Guy Does Minecraft crew, and there was another group that had Quibblequop and a bunch of other guys and Kib and a list of Minecraft people that you probably have no idea unless you watch Minecraft videos. But and most of them are gone now. Actually, most of them all quit.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit sad to see. Actually,
Okay.
a few of the smaller ones got big, and they're now some of the biggest in the world. But a lot of the ones who were big are just gone. Just deleted from the internet now.
So they don't even play video games at all. They just disappeared.
They just disappeared entirely, pretty much. A couple of them rebranded and just used their Twitter to post random stuff.
Yeah, okay.
A lot of them tried to be like music artists and thought they were good at singing because they had an audience, or rapping. There's a lot of them going around.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just think because they're famous they can swap into whatever they want, and they're most passionate about music. But yeah, I don't mean to roast them too hard, but unfortunately, if you don't become famous because of your music, then you probably shouldn't be swapping to music.
Just go in, mate, for the jugular. I love it. But I want you to tell me about because this is your full-time job. I want you to run me through the pressure that you go through every day of making sure that you perform and getting a meal on the table for your family, your young family, and just tell me about that from day to day, the hours that you work, and what it takes to be in your position.
Yeah, so it's actually getting a bit better now because I guess I'll start off when I was like a YouTuber. It was super easy. I just wake up every day, smash out a video, do a quick couple cuts, upload it. That was probably the easiest life. When I went to pro player side of things, that was extremely stressful because if you don't get invited to that international tournament, if you don't qualify, if you play bad in one game or miss a single shot and you don't get to go to this next event or get your flights paid for the next event, then you're screwed for another 6 months. So if we didn't make it to the finals and we didn't place well, like top 4 in the finals, you weren't making much at all. So that was by far the most stressful. But yeah, since then, obviously I've gone into management and it's a lot more stable doing the management side of things. So yeah, I help influencers connect with all the brands and basically just sell big packages to people going, here, take a bunch of influencers, take a bunch of esports and pro players through KANGA, or interested in live events, no worries. Events Engine can hook you up with staffing, PR, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, now I just work as much as I can. I wake up. If someone's replied to me, I reply almost instantly, no matter what hour, time of day. If I get a message while I'm out, I'll just answer straight away on my phone. And yeah, the only thing kind of slowing me down is when people stop replying back because they're on public holidays or sleeping or something. So yeah, it's just, I just want to get as much done as possible while I've got this opportunity because not many people get this opportunity. I'm making the most of it. I've got these connections. I've got the companies and infrastructure all set up. And yeah, if I don't do it, it's just sad reality that no one may do it. That deal may not come in. That new brand may not enter esports, and esports just won't get that money. So yeah, it's an esports and gaming in this region needs all the help it can get. So yeah, I just want to help out where I can, and of course, grow my businesses to support myself.
No, I love it, man. I love it. It's a man with passion behind him. That's something that we've all got to envy in the business. You know, no matter where you are, you just got to realize, well, HAYDZ is out there replying at any hour. He's out there replying at any hour. He could be out somewhere doing whatever he's doing, and just bang, he takes that phone call. I love it. I respect it, man. So how does it go? Raising a young family as well, and having time to balance the work life and whatnot. Like, you know, you've always got your phone, you've got to like reply to that, and then you've got a kid on the hip or whatever, or playing with the, you know, whatever, Lego. I'm just being very stereotypical here, playing Lego with a kid or whatever at the playground. How do you balance it, man? How do you find time? Because I know that a lot of people that listen to the podcast are of that demographic, and they're trying to balance things. So any tips, any hints? How do you do it, man?
So I'm fairly lucky that I got such a large family around me. So there's always like my partner or mum and dad or even sister, brother, other relatives. So there's always people around. There's always something to do. And I'm also lucky that my kids like gaming. Well, it's not that lucky. I'm assuming most kids like gaming. So yeah, my little one just grabs out the Nintendo Switch and he's walking around with it. And my little girl also likes the tablet, plays all the Roblox and Minecraft games, watching my old videos and parodies and stuff like that. Yeah, so I try and basically the answer to that is integrate it into your life as much as possible. So you can get away with playing that game or doing that research or talking to this person. If they're also interested in that, you can do it together. So yeah, trying to do as much of that as possible.
No, I love it, man. And it's are they future prospects? Are they going to be?
I'm already training them up on Super Smash Brothers to enter the local leagues. You pair them up with HAYDZ, one of the best. The best Super Smash Brother Ultimate player in the country. Make him play with my 3-year-old and defeat some people in the doubles bracket.
Why not?
So I can just post on KANGA. They lost to a 3-year-old.
That would. Can you do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm already training them up. I got all these ideas in the back of that. I don't want to spoil them too much, so that's the plan.
So do the children wake up at a certain time? They probably wake up at like 2 p.m., go to sleep at 3 a.m., they have like terrible diets just to fit the game of life. Is that the training regime that we have?
Nah, so I'd like to say yes to that, but they're on a pretty good schedule. They wake up like 7 a.m. every day, go to bed 8:30 every single day. So they stick to their schedule, and I think that's a way for me to manage things as well.
Yeah,
because I would never be able to book a meeting or book a podcast like this if I didn't know that they were all asleep by 8:30 every day. So if I know they're going to sleep, that means I can book something 15 minutes after.
Yep.
Whereas if there's too many flexible things in your day, then you can't book things in, and then you just end up wasting so much hours in the day.
No, I love it, man. Absolutely respect it, dude. So are there any more big acquisitions in the plan? You're just going to be expanding that, or what's the go? Give me some insider source. Give us some goss.
No, I think I pulled off most of the big acquisitions, and now we've got the foundations there. It's just about finding people to work with, finding brands who want to enter the space, and recruiting more big influencers to join our team, and more pro players to join as well, and entering more games. So it's lots of small incremental things from here on, I think.
Where do you see esports in the next 5 years, we'll say? Even 3 years, if you want to bring it down a little bit more, but we'll stick with 5. Where do you see it in Australia?
So I think Australia will be all about integrating with the rest of the world, because it's just the fact that we don't have the population here to grow as fast as our country kind of deserves because of the talent and development and infrastructure. So it'll be about better internet connections, companies like OneCode who have servers in Guam that can help link up Asia, Australia, and the US so people can all play together. All of that sort of joining and merging with the international community will be what's key.
What's Guam? Is that to like lower the ping? Like what is that?
So
tell me about that.
Guam's an island in between Japan and the USA and a little bit above New Zealand, I guess.
Yeah.
In the middle of the ocean. So theoretically, servers there could offer low ping to Southeast Asia and Australia, while also allowing the US to connect because it's straight across the ocean. That's like one of the key things. But of course, just faster internet in general. Elon Musk kicking in his super fast satellite network, hopefully, and just hooking everyone up, solving the latency problem. They don't have a solution yet, but I'm hoping someone thinks of something.
Well, maybe you could do it.
that'll be what makes it. That'll be the difference. As soon as someone flicks that switch, and there's ping, latency-free, worldwide internet connection, super fast, then Australia will just open up and expand like never before. It'll be what changes everything.
Where are you going for first, mate? Once that internet happens, so let's say we have it in the next week. What are you doing to prepare for that? Without putting too much on the table. What are we going for? We putting teams out to places, we getting scrims happening. What are we doing?
Yeah, so like that's what we are preparing for. That's why you're picking up a good team in Australia, is because you want them to like compete overseas.
Yeah.
So yeah, we try and support the local talent as much as we can, mainly picking up Australian teams and players. We've dabbled a little bit with. We got some Pakistan Tekken players because they were like number 2 and 3 in the world.
Yep.
We picked up a Dutch guy and an American guy for our Paladins team, but mainly we focus on local Australian talent.
Hey, do you remember that guy at that BAM event that I went to? And he was like that real tank, like American guy. Do you remember him? He's like
I don't know. There's so many.
he was like tall, lean. I think that I'm still in his profile picture for his Twitch link. But he literally looked like a Tekken player. Like, I don't know if you remember.
Tekken character, you mean?
He looked like a Tekken character guy. Like he had that trucker cap on and stuff, and he was American. Obviously, he wouldn't be competing for an Australian team. But yeah, it was just nuts. But when I was watching some of the blokes' hand movements in those fighting games with those, what are those pads called with a joystick? What are they called, man?
Arcade sticks.
With the arcade sticks, man. Dude, their fingers and stuff, man. It was like watching someone play Fortnite, bro. Like, it was nuts. But is KANGA, speaking of Fortnite, is KANGA like looking at Fortnite players or expanding to Halo, Fortnite, Call of Duty? Probably not Call of Duty. No one is. But any other games that you guys are looking at?
Yeah, well, we're always looking at everything, basically. We just assign the budget as we get it. So if we see a good deal, we'll jump in and we'll make it work. But it's all about finding that good deal, I guess. Just because you'll see it kind of works like the stock market. All the players think they're worth $1 million, and then there's no orgs in the scene, and then they go, oh, hang on a second, maybe we shouldn't have priced ourselves so high. And it's all about kind of finding the right match that works. Because at KANGA, we always focus on like a sustainable business model. We want to be those guys that are always there, slow and steady, growing, expanding, and we never want to have to like cut back and drop teams or like delete the org or sell the org just because I feel like it's much better to take the sustainable route and only expand when we have the funds and backing sponsors to do so. So yeah, that's what I've been doing, and it's worked so far. We're now one of the biggest orgs in the country, so it's going to keep doing what we're doing.
There we go. You're knocking on Chiefs and Orders door, bro. You know, they're probably the top 2, and then probably KANGA. I don't know. You can probably correct me on that, but yeah, what are the sponsors that we're working with this year for KANGA?
So we're about to announce 3 new sponsors in February.
Oh, let's go. Huge, man.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, everyone was taking holidays or something in the last month.
What's a holiday to HAYDZ?
So I had to wait till we booked in all the meetings for this month. But yeah, we got a couple good ones signed on, and yeah, they're going to be announced next month. We did announce one so far, With You With Me. They're a great company that does training, and they're helping support the LCO team. So yeah, shout out to them as the first one that we announced, but yeah, more coming.
Fantastic. And so are these other few that are coming on board without saying their names, are they new to the gaming scene? Are they familiar with the gaming scene? How did you get onto them? Out of curiosity.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of what KANGA's known for, is we always bring in the ones that have never entered the space before, no one's ever heard of.
Yep.
So yeah, I think both of them are both new to the scene. Both never sponsored a team or event before.
Wow.
And then the third or fourth that we're in talks with, they're a mix and they've sponsored teams before. But yeah, the first 2 coming out, they're brand new to the scene, and yeah, it'll be good to have them on board and show them what gaming and esports is all about.
Dude, this is like a massive like make moment for you guys. You guys just got to bring them to one event and just have some sort of thing like a PAX, have one of your people up on stage or whatever deal you guys have going on this year with whatever event, and just give them that unreal experience, man. I think that would genuinely blow them out of the water. A lot of people that we're dealing with now, they don't understand gaming, and when you show them like an RGB keyboard or like a cool liquid cooled computer, people just whiz out over that, man. So I'm pumped for you, man. That is so cool. That is amazing.
Yeah, well, I actually met one of the sponsors at a live event.
Really?
So yeah, I go to pretty much every live event in the country, even if it's not esports related, even if it's just slightly gaming related.
Yep.
And especially if it's in Melbourne, I'll definitely be going to it. And I just talk to every single booth there. Every single person who'll talk to me, I talk to them, and I have a dead voice by the end of it. but it always pays off because that's how I met one of the sponsors who's about to sign on. I met them at an event.
Hell yeah, man.
So yeah, you gotta always get yourself out there and just talk to everyone.
What event was it, like Sexpo?
This one was Oz Comic Con, I think.
How did you keep a straight face, Hayes? What the hell?
Oh, that's a pretty normal event. There's some gaming stuff there. They got some good virtual reality stuff.
Bullshit. At the Sexpo?
I just know from other people saying.
Oh, okay, Hayes. Okay, Hayes. Oh, man. Oh, you're a pisser, bro. I love it, man. I love it. Oh, funny, bro. Imagine if you went to like the roadshow and you just picked up like Mitre 10 for like a KANGA sponsor jersey. Imagine that. What's one sponsor that you could just chuck on your jersey that would be totally irrelevant of gaming that you just love to have on the jersey? If you could just go for
probably
one.
Tesla if I could.
That'd be cool.
Love to get the whole like all the players and influencers rolling up in Teslas to a LAN.
That would be sick. That is very cool.
That's probably my number one sponsor right now. If you're listening, Elon, get in touch.
There we go. The lawn. Haydes, I reckon we're going to call it there, man. Dude, appreciate your time so much, man. But one last question, as you probably already know, what I ask people at the end of every podcast is quite the controversy between myself and the community, and that is, where do you store your butter, mate? In the fridge or the pantry?
Has to be in the fridge.
Oh, mate, people, the fridge has become a common answer.
You've just been conned. It's not even a debate.
This is just a con. It's just, god damn. You know, I put it in the fridge the other day. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. Dude, I couldn't even put my knife through it. It was just a brick. It was just like, it was ready for construction to go into a building, bro. That's how hard it was.
I think it's a bit of an old tradition that's kind of been lost. Because I remember my grandparents used to keep it out under a little cow that you lift up and it's got the butter underneath it. Like a little tray where they used to have all that sort of stuff. So I think that's an old tradition that's just not needed anymore.
Oh, well, maybe
fridges exist and margarine has become spreadable.
True. That's true. Maybe I'm just old school, man. Maybe I'm just an old school butter person, hey?
It's way too hot here now.
It's
getting crazy. It'll be melted in a pool by the time you see it.
It's getting a little bit liquidy, man. It kind of falls off the knife when I like get it out and I'm like, oh, it's on the bench now. It's happened a couple times, but where can we find you, man, on the socials?
Yep, so yeah, you definitely want to check out Events Engine on Twitter. You want to check out KANGA Esports on Twitter and HAYDZ Tweets on Twitter. And yeah, keep up to date with everything.
Fantastic, man. Thank you so much for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to keep up to date with us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. I keep forgetting to mention that every episode, but this is where it begins. Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. That's where we're all live for the visual version, obviously on YouTube as well. But I'll see you guys next time. Until then, remember to be safe, stay swollen as always. Boom, baby. Peace.
See you later, everyone.